All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the absolute cutting edge of mobile tech. We are literally tearing down 2026's top flagships to see exactly where your money actually goes when you buy a high-end smartphone today. Are you getting real, tangible hardware upgrades, or are you, just subsidizing a massive marketing budget?
And really, that's the multi-million-dollar question we're answering today. The smartphone market right now is essentially a heavyweight bout. On one side, we've got the established premium tier, the industry giants that set the benchmark year after year. And on the other side, we have these incredibly aggressive disruptors promising to give you that exact same flagship power, but for drastically less money.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Meet the flagships. 2. Display and design duel. 3. Power and battery battle. 4. The photography showdown. 5. Price versus premium ecosystem. And 6. The best phone for you.
Section 1. Meet the flagships. David versus Goliath.
So, this is a classic David versus Goliath scenario. Our two main contenders for today's deep dive represent two totally opposite design and pricing philosophies. Over in the Goliath corner, we have the Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra. I mean, it's the absolute definition of corporate premium, starting at a very hefty £1,279. Then, in the David corner, we have the Poco F8 Ultra. This thing is pure performance energy and it comes in at just £599. Guys, that's a massive £680 price difference. As we go through this explainer, you really need to keep asking yourself, is the Samsung genuinely worth over double the price?
Section 2. Display and design duel. Glass and glass.
This battle is all about the physical hardware, the stuff you touch every single day. In the hand, the S26 Ultra feels exactly like what it is, incredibly expensive. You're getting an aluminum armor frame, the built-in S Pen, which is absolutely fantastic for note-taking, and a stunning 6.9-inch display covered by Gorilla Glass armor too. Honestly, you can use it without a case for a week and the screen will just remain totally pristine. The Poco F8 Ultra, well, it takes a slightly bolder approach. It's got a nice glass and metal combo and even features a really cool denim blue variant made from a nanotech material. Plus, it has a handy IR blaster built right into the camera module. Now, it does come with a pre-applied screen protector, but let me tell you, it is terrible. It'll scratch up in about 5 minutes. You're going to want to peel that off and buy a better one immediately. But underneath that, both of these phones are giving you gorgeous, massive 6.9-inch 120Hz AMOLED displays.
Section 3. Power and battery battle. The benchmark brawlers. This is where the competition gets incredibly fierce, and this brilliantly illustrates the current reality of the smartphone market. Look at this landscape of top-tier 2026 phones. Whether you're buying a Samsung, an Oppo, a Vivo, an iQOO, or a Poco, they're all sharing the exact same brain. They are all powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor. Now sure, they manage the heat differently, like iQOO literally using a physical 59-blade active fan, or Poco using its liquid cool technology, but the raw engine is exactly the same across the board.
So, what does that all mean for raw speed? Well, Samsung gets a slightly customized for Galaxy version of that chip. In Geekbench multi-core tests, the S26 Ultra scores an 11,300, while the Poco hits 10,769. Samsung wins slightly on raw sustained numbers, mostly because their tuning prioritizes long-term stability during long gaming sessions. But the Poco, it's tuned for aggressive, short bursts of extreme speed. The reality for you and me is that for everyday tasks, or even heavy gaming, both of these devices offer immense, pretty much indistinguishable power.
But hey, power means absolutely nothing if your phone is dead, right? In a strict 2-hour video playback drain test at 80% brightness against Samsung's S25 Ultra from last cycle, the Poco F8 Ultra only drained 10% of its battery, compared to 14% for the Samsung. Why? Because Poco somehow managed to cram a massive 6,500 mAh silicon carbon battery into a phone that's basically the same size as the Samsung. To put that into perspective, that's the difference between your phone dying halfway through a transatlantic flight versus comfortably making it all the way to your hotel room.
And when you do finally need to plug in, the Poco features 100W wired hypercharge. It'll take that massive battery from 0 to 50% in just 20 minutes. That's wild. Samsung is no slouch, but it does cap out at 60W charging. They do this intentionally, focusing much more on long-term battery health and efficiency over the phone's lifespan rather than just raw charging speed.
Section 4. The photography showdown. Pixels and periscopes.
Cameras are often the ultimate deciding factor that separates the true flagships from the rest of the pack. And honestly, the Poco really shocked reviewers here. Hardware Zone noted that the Poco F8 Ultra takes 20x zoom photos to the next level. Now, it's relying heavily on computational algorithms and AI to sharpen those images up, but the results are undeniably impressive, giving you incredibly lifelike shots.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark difference in strategy. Look at Samsung's extreme versatility. They're giving you a massive 200-megapixel main sensor plus 2 separate telephoto zoom lenses, a 3x optical and a 5x optical periscope. It's hands down the most flexible camera system out there. Poco, on the other hand, gives you a very capable array of 350-megapixel sensors. The main camera uses this massive Light Fusion 950 sensor, and it also features a 50-megapixel 5x periscope lens. So Samsung absolutely wins on ultimate versatility and physical hardware, but Poco's computational photography closes that gap surprisingly well.
Section 5. Price versus Premium Ecosystem. The Intangibles.
We've got to look beyond the raw specs to the intangibles, the things that actually make a phone a joy to use. Software and support are huge here. Samsung guarantees 7 years of Android and security updates. 7 years. That is incredible long-term value. Plus, you got their highly refined One UI and that deep ecosystem integration. Poco runs HyperOS 3, which is super smooth, but they only promise 4 years of OS updates. However, Poco throws an absolute wildcard into the mix, a Bose-branded, tablet-level rear subwoofer built right into the back of the phone. Seriously, it gives you deep, distortion-free bass. You definitely won't find a dedicated subwoofer on a Samsung.
Section 6. The best phone for you. Final verdict. Okay, we've gathered all the data, so let's check the judges' scorecard. If you are a hardcore mobile gamer, the recommendation actually goes to the iQOO Q15 Ultra. Starting at around $798, it combines that Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 with a dedicated in-house Q3 esports chip. But the real game changer is its thermal management. It uses an ice dome cooling system with an actual 59-blade fan to stop thermal throttling, all backed by a ridiculous 7,400 mAh battery. It is literally built for sustained, competitive play.
Now, if you're a content creator or just a massive photography enthusiast, you've got 2 top choices. The Samsung Galaxy S26 Ultra remains the absolute king of zoom versatility with that 200-megapixel main sensor. But the Vivo X300 Ultra is right there neck and neck with it, featuring a Zeiss co-engineered dual 200-megapixel system that leans on the Snapdragon's neural engine for some mind-blowing computational photography.
So, the crucial point is this. If you want the absolute best specifications for the lowest possible price point, the Poco F8 Ultra is the undisputed value champion. For just £599, you're getting the flagship Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, a giant 6,500 mAh battery, and blazing fast 100-watt charging. For everyday consumers wanting flagship power without taking out a second mortgage, this is a spectacular bang for your buck device.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive. We've seen the ultra-premium refinement of Samsung, the intense gaming focus of iQOO, and the incredibly disruptive value of the Poco. So I'll leave you with this. Speed, refinement, or value? What truly defines your ultimate smartphone? Think about what you actually use your phone for every single day. The market right now is giving you the power to choose exactly what you pay for. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring to find the absolute perfect fit for your pocket.